Hello and welcome to Wise Exotics. I'm your host Trevor, and today we'll be doing the end of September for 2025 of the video log series. Now, if you're new or returning, welcome. I hope you guys had a good September. I got some bad news, I got some good news, and kind of things that are work in progress. So we're going to kind of go on into the plants while I chat about it. So at this time, we did lose Diabolica number 4. She did keep getting necrosis, and I kept trying to root her, and it did not pan out, sadly. Um, One other negative thing that did occur is this light, as you can see how it's hooked up, there's actually like a thread going up here and then like a screw point. The screw point detached and dropped this right on top of my eddy. Now the eddy was damaged. It did tear into the leaf. It broke the growth point. It's already pushed a new trap, a new growth. This eddy is pretty durable. As some of you know, if you're new, when I was getting chemotherapy, I had that eddy. I had slipped right after showing it on a video, and it kind of went in the air and fell, and I broke parts of it then, and it pushed through that too. So this eddy's pretty durable. I give it kudos for its durability and virulence. The larger Raja that's from Jeff, which I call Behemoth here, this was literally a tiny seedling like about a year ago. And it exploded in growth in ways that even Jeff's impressed with. It's doing really well, but it's aborted the trap there. It hasn't made any new traps, but it looks like I have an embryo there. Raja expeltata's made some new traps. Of course, one's off there. Palinensis is doing pretty good making new traps. Also, there's a new Berbizier trap that's hidden way in the back corner over there. So, good news, Taffy has a basil. Now, this basil's already promised to my friend Travis, so he's going to get it once it's big enough and root it himself. Crimson Candy, which did have a lot of the issues with the neem oil, and I had to try to help it. It looks like it's trying to push a new growth point, but it's pushing like 5 or 6 basils at the base here. Similar to how this one's doing it, there's like all these basils down here, as you can see, just kind of shooting out, and that takes a lot of energy. This is the dual leaf one. This is one that likes to put 2 leaves. Sometimes like from here out there might be 2 leaves and 2 traps. This is BE4021, whereas Crimson Candy over there is a VCIA. My other VCIA is right here. It was getting a little stressed, but it might also be pushing basils too. I'll have to get in here and look around, but this is the one that looks like the VCIA mother. Kind of slightly improved because it does get speckles on the wings. Actually, my Akazuka next barrio. This is a seed-grown specimen from Yamada that I got from Untamed Sky. Doing really well. It's red, it's squat, it's striped. I can't complain. Its sibling's right next to it, and its sibling was having kind of a fit during the heat wave too. As you can see, stress leaves. Stress, but new leaf looks okay. It might be trying to push a basil also. I'll have to check in there. That Kara 207 is looking really good. That dead center here, you can see this nice flared stripe trap. That's acting a lot like its dad. Its other one is right here. It was getting stressed too. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. I did move Mollis out, and it's already made a trap out here. So it's doing okay. That's my male Mollis, AW number 2. Now this VCI, which is Big Mama X the Wave, is actually going to be going out Monday. My 2 clips are doing really good on this end. This clip and Sumatrana and Leonardoi and one of the Ovadas are going to be going out, I think, in October. So that'll be a big bundle going out. So the Leo's doing fine. You can see here, big jump actually on my Aime right there. Big leaf jump. This Marudix candy is available for $60. I'll even do 50 if somebody wants it. Adriani was a little stressed. Argenta, you can see, had a small trap, but it's doing pretty well. Seems to like being directly under the light. It kept trying to hang off here, so I might move it from here into the tray when I get more room there. A bunch of the VCI are doing real well. This one's really tall. JBX Cobra is doing well. Seems to have lost the variegation, which is a thing. This is the one that was getting like white blobs on the leaves and a dark streak down the middle. So I was really hoping that would keep, but it's still a fun plant. It's this nice dark speckles and whatnot. It's almost like purplish. So It is striped, it's more faint striped. So I don't know. It's very Simeonensis's trap. Now this Sib trap seems to be an intermediate that we can discern. Um, it doesn't look like the lowers that I've had prior, so it's actually making an intermediate, it looks like. The uppers on it are more green and cupped. Peter Diamato, Briggsano looks to be fine. Hamada is doing okay right dead center. Looks like it even thinking about a trap now. Even through the heat wave, this girl is pretty durable. This is actually a female Tembusisi. Yeah, I got for $90, 3975 from BE is supposed to be female. My VCIM was not happy with the heat wave. It did have a stress sleep, and it's been doing pretty durable throughout all the warm weather. So that's its first stress. I believe this is KXK. Yeah, 2 EPKs doing pretty well. Seems to be stabilized. Samudira seems fine, actually, which is weird because this one's always been pretty sensitive. Maybe a little bit of a leaf shrink right there, but this one's going through. So they're all doing fairly okay. Actually, if you can see it, my red-purple Alba Marigonata is in the back. It gets almost purplish leaves. I got that one from Hawaii, weirdly enough. And it's been here for a while. I remember I sold a basil of it off a long time ago, but it's a, let's see if I can get to it. It is a red-purple, I'll bring it. It's a lowland species, so of course it's liking the warm weather. My other plant seems to be making a tendril way down here. You can actually see the Raja trap. Can't see the burb fully, but it's kind of hiding on that back edge. Huh. Just kind of fun to see what's hiding back here. This one's almost purplish too now. Trippy. Some pretty traps, some pretty leaves. So this is the clip that will be going out. A little stressed with the heat, but it's doing fine beyond that. This one's had issues before. That was one I rescued from root rot. Nothing yet on pink candy. I know quite a few people have been asking me if it's got basils. Sadly, no, not at this time. It hasn't even had a flower yet either, so I'm hoping I'll be able to confirm that. There's actually a little flower from a sundew here. What species? I don't know. I think it's a Cape sundew. Somebody sent it to me, so I just stuck it in a pot and stick it here. Like, oh cool, sundew. I have no idea what species you are. No, I have another sundew. That was the one that was in here, in with my lingulata. That was from California Carnivores. It's a pretty little, I think it's another Cape sundew. A lot of pings hiding in the pots. Anyway, let's go over to the tank. Okay, here we are in the tank setup. And I have the GW X Candy Dreams here. Kind of looks like 4-ish, 5-ish maybe in each pot are doing okay. The oldest and largest of the GW X Candy Dreams that was in my pot is right there. Sorry, trying to do it. The Asian cross seems to be doing good, though I did look like I lost a few in the heat wave. They got a little too stressed. Sorry about that. There was a cat yelling at me from the back window, and I was like, who is this? Was that my cat who got out? Doesn't seem to be. It was a stray kitty. None of the Vici were really too happy. This was the basil from my K2 X Candy Stripe X Candy, one of the seed grown. The main plant is rooting because I snipped off the main growth, and that'll be available in like a month or two. That was the one that was supposed to go to Mike Fallen, but we ended up canceling the trade. Anyway, so there's that. This Raja's doing fine, making traps. This is the other Tembe Yukon. The leaf form is very similar to mine, so that definitely is not getting crazy jumps, but getting good leaf growth. So maybe it's more of a Tembe Yukon trait, or maybe the Tembe Yukon just like my conditions. I don't know. The Kinabalu one over here is doing fine. The seed-grown Kinabalu, I believe, if I can pull it out without hurting anything, did make a tiny little tubby trap. But it seems to be doing okay. VGIC seems okay. This is a very weird, this is a Big Mama X The Wave, which I got this one initially, and then it was nearly dead when I got it, so Drew sent me the other one as a replacement. However, I was able to continue growing it and get it back. It took a long time. It was just a single leaf here for the longest time. So I don't know if it's doing well, but it's not making tendrils. It literally is making the traps directly on the tip of the leaf. So that's very weird behavior. Macroclone T, Macroclone 11, BCP, Macroclone 15, my seed grown one, which seemed it was getting a little bit of stress in its leaves, but it's still pushing through. My Velosa seems really happy. Actually, both Velosas, which is this is the APG from prior, pushed out a pretty good leaf jump and seems to be making traps. My Velosa is doing fine. Some little toothy traps. So this is a Tambiucon, and that's a Kinabalu form, so those are nice to see. Ettenbergi doesn't look too stressed from the heat wave, thankfully. Ling, Sing, female Clipiata, sorry for the yawn. Doing well, getting more reddish in her traps, a little red hue on it. I'm happy to see that. Diabolica number 1 is right there. You can see doing well. Now, one other key fact between Maria and Diabolica that's different is their leaves. You'll notice that Diabolica leaves kind of make almost like a U-ish V shape as they grow and then flatten out. The Maria tend to have more wider points, more pleated. It's an interesting other little distinction that's known. Undulata folia. This is clone 1 from Plant City. It does seem to be a red one. I know some people care about color. There's a lot of yellow ones, so the red is a nice little difference. Ovada seems to be okay. This is not the one that's going. I had tried to put some more moss here, but it keeps drying out, so I'm going to just pull that moss out. See how much moss I've lost? It keeps drying out. This Sundew is really happy. It's like a micro one. I believe I got that one from Bay Area Botanicals in a trade. But all the other plants I'm doing well, have high expectations of these. These two are Candy, X Candy, X Candy. So it's Candy, X Candy, F2. Basically F3. So we'll see other MXM Homemade, GF Wong, X. I think those are right here. GF Wong, yeah, X Akazuka and X Barrio. Same as my two. This should be Marood, X Candy Red Male. That one was a little stressed, but it seems to be pushing through. M1X Cobra is still keeping the reddish color, and then it oranges out as it ages, but it had stripes, so it confirmed stripes on that one. Now, these are the two Orange Candy Dreams. In my opinion, as a Vichai addict, I believe Orange X Candy Dreams will beat GW X Candy Dreams, not just in terms of viability, in terms of being a more stable cross, because sometimes that does happen, there's genetic issues. That's what I believe is occurring with GW X Candy Dreams, but in terms of color, you're going to get more squat or the reds. So these are the two Orange X Candy Dreams. Now, that also is Pretty Orange from China, which is a sister to Candy Dreams. So in terms of breeding, some of these breeders will do is a Gen 1 that's an inbred that locks some of the genetics, and that's well known for cats and dogs on some of these, and then they'll continue on breeding out with others to keep that genome. But I'm not too sure. It looks like this MXM2 had a bit of stress. Number 2, the sibling looks to be fine though. Of course, it's the one that gets the pinkish colors. These are both nice. So MXM2 is actually from Europe, but my friend Mike, Mike's Little Oasis, did get some seeds and he grew them out. So he has some still available. So if anybody is wanting some of those, I highly recommend it. Actually, I do have a card of his right here. So it's Mike _ Little Oasis. Mike's _ Little _ Oasis. Anyway, so there's some random little blip. If you're looking for some M's, I know some people are, so do try. The Marood Vichai, which there is not very many pure Maroods around. This is a pure Marood X Marood from Luca over in Germany, I believe. Yeah, Nepenthes grower. My second one did go out to Bailey. It's doing fine for him. Both of them are showing stripes that are very pink. Now, what's weird is the stripes don't show initially, and then they fade in after about a week or two. So it's kind of cool that it does that. This is the same candy in the Candy F2 crossed with Barrio Striped Pink, basically. It's Barrio Striped, but it's a pink Barrio that's a male. But this one's really nice, already pink. Don't know if it's going to keep being stout or get tubbier, but those are good. Now, one I was really excited to see were these ones. So this one that's always been red is Big Mama X Pink Candy Cane Clone 13. Now, I found out that Jess is actually the one who bred this from Carnivoro. It was kind of a female that nobody wanted to breed, but he still did. Now, look at the offspring are getting red, red with stripes. That's the other one right there. And then the one here is kind of oranges with stripes. So I think it was a good call on, in my opinion, Jess. So that was crossed with Akazukin X Barrio, and that's the male that Carnivoro has, which is a sibling to my two. So good genetics there. Akazukin X Barrio always tends to age more red, which is uncommon in most feature. I just keep yawning. I'm sorry, everyone. Just keep yawning away. I'm not bored. I just been up for a bit. I haven't been getting good sleep. Anyway, Aristolecoides is doing pretty good. I know somebody was asking about that. It looks like the Epiphydia had a bit of a stress leaf due to the heat wave. Leo didn't, or not Leo, Loei did not. So, looks like this MXM homemade, which is a cross between Luca and John. John is the person who bred and made my JF001 here, which I grew from seed. Quite a few of you have some of these because I made those available. In terms of the other seedlings, I believe these are the Candy X Candy Red. Yeah, Candy Red X Candy Red from Monkey Cups. They're the ones who bred this one. Quite a few are getting nice stuff. Now the Asian, I was dividing these out so me and my friend Adrian, when we do a meetup, I can hand him his pot. So I'm trying to slowly do that, but I want them to stabilize before I do it anymore because it was getting hot. I stopped midway. This is the other Candy Red, X Candy Red. Not that one, that's a 4033, but the one that's on the wall. Now, if anybody has any good naming conventions or names for that, I would love it, some help. That's the one that specifically went through the Arctic storm that hit in mid-import to me in December, and basically it almost died of frostbite, but it's come back. So I was trying to think of something that was like candy, frost, frostbite, something like that. Tundra, some weird names people have suggested. If anybody has suggestions, let me know. I might do a contest or something for that because I just can't think of what to call the one. It's already red, orange with stripes. Squad, I can't complain. I did buy it specifically because it was getting good trades. Number 5, X Cobra, nothing so far. And I know another person said that theirs was a dud, so it's only been like a month. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3, even to 6. These were later seeds that Drew offered at a discount for whatever reason, and so I grabbed that. The Ritz X Barrio, JF001. These are all the Ritz X Barrio I have left. I still have plenty of JF001s. I have like, well, 1, 2 right there. This one was always a slow but squat one, so was this one, so I keep them in here separate from their siblings. The siblings are still in the seedling dome, just doing their own thing. Anywho, that seems to be it for the tank. As I said, the macros are doing okay. The Eddie was damaged, but it's still pushing through. The Rajas are doing okay. This one still gets its thing. Now, I know we were discussing if it was necrosis. The necrosis points would be more of this black color, not blue-black, which is, it's this color with like a blue hint. And it's not the same as thing. Now, Rajas in general, when their leaves die off, they do turn black. I would like to point that out. But it's not the same coloring. It's very weird behavior. Now, I've had some where they asked me to cut it. I did cut it. We inspected the inside. It was still green on the inside. So one thought is it might be necrosis only on the top layer of cells. I don't think it's black variegation because that doesn't make sense because none of the Rajas have done that before. So I don't think it's stress necrosis either because it's producing traps, but it even starts to show it on some of the trap points in little splotches. So it's just a weird phenomenon. Again, my other 3152, which I'm pretty sure is a different clone, is not doing this either. So it's just this specific clone is doing this oddity. It might be getting stressed, but if it was stress, why is it producing healthy leaves? Now, this one does like to also produce a lot of basils, so that might also be draining nutrients. So there's other reasoning, but like here you go. The blackening doesn't go to the stem. It always just stops on the leaf. It's very weird. I know some of that. So at this point, I don't believe it's a full necrosis or necrosis itself because it's not damaging the plant. Usually if necrosis spreads, like on my KX squat when I got it, it was the whole leaf was this kind of chalky black going across the leaf, and it was basically eating from the tip down toward the center of the leaf. And if it hits the center of the leaf, that causes, it's kind of like a death spiral. So if that does occur, what I did at the time is I snipped it, used a Q-tip and applied hydrogen peroxide, and it healed and it's growing out of the main tree out there. Now doing fine, but that's a way to prevent it. Now, it's kind of neat to see how the Diabolica one gets almost a, green leaf, and then you look at the Tempe Yukon, it almost gets like a red blush. Both that and mine have done that before, so I think that's kind of neat. It also gets this more, I don't even say, wider leaf. If you look at the Diabolica, they're kind of a perfect little, almost like gem shape. Not a teardrop, but it like curves here and goes there. And then this one kind of curves and then keeps going out and then comes back. So it's definitely a wider, broader leaf, and there's almost like a fuzzy edge to it. I do like this BCP one a lot. It's pretty stable. Yeah, it's already trying to produce another trap over here. Does it have a trap down there? No, it looks like it aborted that leaf. That one's doing well. So if anybody has questions, comments, concerns, or if you need any consultations or help with your own conditions, or you need an opinion, assistance, or just to pick my brain on something, hit me up on Instagram over on Wise Exotics, or you can post comments here. Happy to answer and reply as best I can. I can just live chat with you on Instagram. It's a lot easier for me. I've tried Facebook and all that. It's harder on Facebook. I don't know why, but it's more difficult to use than just using the Instagram Messenger message system. It's always quick to reply. If there's any plants that I have available, I don't think so. I think I have pretty much all the plants that I was going to sell ready to go. No, there is one. I stand corrected. I just had a brain flag. Marood X Candy that's striped, that was from a basil. The main mother plant's going for like 300 on eBay. I do have that available for like 60 bucks, maybe even 50. Hit me up on, whatever for that. And that's with shipping and handling. You add that to that, so it'll be like 50 plus like 10 bucks or however much shipping is. I let you pick your shipping method. I would say that UPS is probably the best at this point. I've had a lot of issues with USPS for certain things. I'll still use it for like shipping seedlings or like cuttings, but if it's a live plant fully, I'll tend to suggest UPS. I also usually get better deal on UPS anyway. Their labels are usually cheaper and they get there faster. Though I would say I've had issues with 2-day air where 3-day shipping seem to actually be faster than 2-day air. I don't know how that works. Anyway, random tangent aside, Trevor out. Hope you all have a good time and talk to you next month. See you all later.